Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here, back again with another video. And today's video is about Zion Johnson, former guard out of Boston College, 6'3", 316 pounds. Now this pick right here for me is, personally as a Charger fan, this is, for me, this is 1A and 1B. Zion Johnson and Jordan Davis. Zion Johnson has great natural instincts as a offensive lineman. He is a guy, he looks very polished as a young player coming out of college. If you look at his tape, you look at, some of the, games that Boston College was in. If you looked at some of the offense, some of the offensive plays that they ran and some of the plays that they had a lot of success on, a lot of it is due to Zion Johnson. A lot of it is due to him up front, especially when they ran the ball towards his side. He's very polished, and that's the number one thing that comes off when you look at the tape, is that he's polished. He looks like a NFL offensive lineman who, put on a college helmet in a college jersey and went out there to play. Very polished. And by polished, I mean, he is a guy, he plays with great leverage. And I think as an offensive lineman, I think that's probably number one. You can have all the strength in the world. You can be as big as you want, you have as long as arms as you want, whatever it is. But if your pad level is not low, and if you do not play with great leverage, then you're not going to have a lot of success, because this is more about technique than it is strength. Like, there is a place for raw strength in the league, especially in the trenches, offensive, defensive line, but your technique will determine a lot. And Zion Johnson is a guy, he has very good technique. His pad level is low. His pad level is always low. You can go back and you can watch a lot of the games, and I went back and I watched some of the games. He was almost never in a position where he was standing straight up. He is completely, leveraged, to the point where guys couldn't even push him around. He's not going anywhere. They're rushing him, and he is leveraged down. He is power, in his legs and in his core, completely took over, because he is in the right position as offensive lineman, especially, playing guard, when you are shooting off the ball, and you're trying to, gain the leverage against the defensive lineman. A lot of the times he was there and his pad level was lower. He was able to get underneath the defensive lineman and able to either pancake him or completely just stand him up, in the hole. And, the guy that he was engaged with was not able to make the tackle, was not able to gain penetration. So that, if you're looking at an offensive lineman, that's exactly what you're looking for at the next level. And I think he showed a lot of that. He was very good. His tape is very impressive, especially for a young player. He really does, as far as run blocking goes, I think he is the best run blocker in this draft, along the offensive line. Again, you go back to the tape, you look at a lot of the tape, he's always in the second level. He gets to the second level. And I know that that's a thing that a lot of linemen like to do, whatever, but he is a guy, and there's a lot of tape out there, of other guards, other linemen who are going to go later in the draft. A lot of them are getting to the second level as well too. A lot of these guys are really good athletes. The thing that sets Zion Johnson apart, though, is that he takes care of business at the first level, then gets to the second level. There's several instances where he is, either helping double team somebody. He's either helping double team nose guard, he's helping double team with defensive end, and then he's able to climb up to the second level, get his helmet on, the linebacker, and create another lane for the running back, receiver, whatever it is. He's able to do that, and he was able to consistently do that. Again, that goes to how athletic he is, how athletic of an offensive lineman he is. There's not too many guys right now that I can think who do that consistently, on a consistent basis, the way that he does it. Right now, obviously, it's going to be different. Going to the NFL, you're going to be blocking a lot bigger guys, a lot stronger guys, guys with better technique. So the level of competition obviously goes up. The level of athleticism and the guys you're lining up against obviously goes up as well too. So that would be something that will have to translate to the second level. I mean, to the next level in the NFL. But he is so consistent at doing it. At this point, it looks like it's going to translate. Again, we don't know for sure. We are not, we can't dictate the future, but this guy has good habits, and those good habits are going to pay off. If there is, if he does struggle at the next level, there might be just a little tweak or something that he might have to make. And I'm confident that he will make it, because he does have good habits as an offensive lineman. And that's one of the things that you look for, when these guys are going through tape and they're showing all this tape and all this stuff. You're looking for the guys who have these good habits, guys who you can plug in, guys who you can get with your offensive line coach, tweak a few things, work on some technique stuff or whatever, and, dominate at the next level. And I think he's at that point where, he can get with the offensive line coach, tweak some stuff and dominate in the NFL just like how he dominated in college. So that's definitely a very, very good sign for a guard, and it would be, I think the Chargers, if they had a chance, if he is there at 17, if the Chargers do not trade up and if he's there at 17, if he somehow happens to slide, I think that would be a pick that would be hard to turn down. It would be hard to not draft him. It would be hard to go with somebody else over him, just based off of everything that you want to do offensively. He also has a lot of versatility as well too. Again, it goes to the athleticism. It's under the athletic umbrella. A lot of versatility. He played left tackle a lot. He had a lot of snaps at left tackle in 2020. So his versatility along the offensive line is going to allow him to not just be a better player, but to more understand what the other guys, the other four guys, have to do as well too. And that's pretty much what offensive line play is. All of your offensive linemen don't have to be great. They don't have to be great individual offensive linemen. They have to work as a unit though. And him having experience at left tackle, it allows him to have a better knowledge of what the other guys need to do, what he needs to do to help the other guys, as well. So I think that is definitely an advantage for him. You normally don't see guys who are graded this high. They're playing other positions. They're normally at their position. If they're a guard, they're a guard. If they're a tackle, they're a tackle. But he has some experience there too. So that's definitely a positive, definitely a plus for Zion Johnson. And if the Chargers decide to pull the trigger and draft him at number 17, I think that the biggest positive to him probably being drafted by the Chargers is that it allows your left guard now, Matt Filer, to move to right tackle. And I think that pretty much solidifies the offensive line. And if the Chargers do decide to resign Oday Aboushi, which I think they should, he had a very, very good season for them last year through 5 games. That really allows you to solidify your offensive line. All 5 starters, it allows you to solidify. And everything else that you do afterwards is, depth. You're able to put together depth. Even later on in the draft, maybe 5th or 6th round, whatever, you might be able to snatch an offensive lineman who you can, maybe mold and work around and, have a depth piece, just in case one of the guys go down. And I think that's probably the absolute biggest positive to drafting Zion Johnson. The Chargers will have their offensive line set, and you're going to have a couple of young guys. Matt Filer obviously is a veteran, but he's a guy. If he is thinking about retirement, or if he does, God forbid, get injured or anything like that, then what you have to do to replace him. You know, okay, you're gonna have to go right tackle, whatever, and you kind of take the guesswork out of putting together an offensive line. The Chargers' offensive line for so long, throughout that period where Tom Telesco first took over 2013 all the way to, I don't know, a couple years ago, the offensive line was just in disarray, and there really wasn't an answer for that. You had to take time, you had to be able to draft, you have to be able to put together, the best offensive line that you possibly can. And, to Tom Telesco's credit, after several years, he paid attention to this and got, put together a pretty damn good offensive line last year. But with Zion Johnson, if he's there at 17, you have the chance to solidify your offensive line for the foreseeable future, right? And be able to plug in holes when they are there, right? But to have a younger group, a younger core of offensive linemen, that really is the foundation to you having long-term success in the league. And especially if you plan to make noise in the playoffs, if you plan to make Super Bowl runs, you need to have that offensive line there. Particularly with the offense that the Chargers have, the weapons that they have, the quarterback that they have, that offensive line being there would be a very, very, very crucial step in the Chargers having long-term success. So I think that is probably the biggest reason why the Chargers drafting Zion Johnson would be a excellent pick, and it would be something that the fan base would definitely appreciate, because there was so much turmoil at offensive line for so long. There were so many good teams with quite a bit of talent, and Phillip Rivers at quarterback, and just the offensive line ended up breaking down almost every single season. And you've seen a lot of sacks, you've seen a lot of bad play, awful running game for so long. This would be a chance to get everything right, and I don't think that the Chargers, at least since I've been a fan, maybe one time in 06, maybe 07 or whatever, but this would be a chance for you to have a young quarterback, a young offensive line, talented receiver group, obviously a talented running back. This would be a chance for the offense to be complete. And I think the thought of that is very exciting for a lot of fans, including myself. So, this Zion Johnson pick could be a big deal if he is available. And last but not least, I think this pick would solidify the Chargers as having the best offensive line in the AFC West. And a big component of, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of movement in the AFC West, a lot of personnel movement, right? A lot of stars coming into the division. There has been a lot of talk about, who has the best quarterback and the best receivers, and, Kansas City having a bunch of, receivers leave or whatever, and Tyreek Hill getting traded and all this stuff. I think the AFC West, and this is a point that I do not see, or I haven't seen anybody talk about it so far. The AFC West is going to be won in the trenches. And everything else, the Devontae Adams and all of this other stuff, the AFC West will be won in the trenches, on offense and on defense. And I think having the Chargers having the best offensive line in the division and one of the best in the league, it puts them, I don't want to say far and above, but it definitely puts them at a significant advantage to win the division, because this allows the Chargers to become more of a power team. And I think that is the one thing that has been missing. And I think that's the thing that will push the Chargers over the edge. You have to become more of a power team, right? And I made a video about, the second and third day running backs that will be available, the bigger power backs that will be available, to draft. And I think this really, the potential drafting of Zion Johnson really puts the Chargers at a significant advantage over everybody else, because all these other teams are going to be trying to get powerful, and it might not work out in their favor. The offensive lines are not, get a little shaky. You look at the Raiders. The Raiders have significant offensive line issues. I expect them to address that in the draft. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They don't have a first or second round pick, so they can't really do a whole lot in the draft. The Broncos offensive line, I expect them to address the offensive line in the draft too. They are kind of shaky a little bit as well too. They had some good games last season, but they also had some really, really ugly games as well too. So they have a little bit of work to do as well too. And last but not least, Kansas City has some work to do on the offensive line as well. They were a little up and down last year. They started off the year a little slow, and then they had real significant struggles, and then they started to gain their footing again. But I expect them to try to become a more power team. That's what Andy Reid is. That's what he was known for in Philadelphia. Before all the passing and all that stuff, he was a heavy run team. With Brian Westbrook and those teams like that. So I expect the AFC West to be one in the trenches. The Chargers obviously have the best defensive line now in the AFC West. One of the best defensive lines in football now. Now it's just up to the offense, and I think Zion Johnson could be that one piece where the Chargers are, doesn't matter what game you go into, they have the significant advantage up front on offense and the significant advantage up front on defense. And I think that's where the AFC West gets won. It's physical, and we can talk about the passing stuff and everything you want, and all of the the fantasy football and all of the fantasy points and all of that stuff. But this division is going to be won up front. And it happens up front, and you stop Patrick Mahomes by winning up front. You're able to shut down Devontae Adams and Derek Carr and all that stuff. All that starts up front. You're able to stop Russell Wilson. All of that stuff happens up front. Up front defensively, up front offensively, being able to seal games, right? Being able to get the ball with 6 minutes left on the clock, being able to run it out, get first down after first down, being able to pound the ball. That's where he gets won. So, this potential draft pick for me, like I said, this is either Zion Johnson, Jordan Davis, Zion Johnson. It's 1A, 1B for me. But this would allow the Chargers to become a power running team, along with being a team that can air it out, right? Having one of the best quarterbacks in the league, having one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league in Justin Herbert. But this would allow the Chargers to play, it's something like what I like to call kiss my ass football, right? I'm going to run the ball here. You know that I'm going to run the ball here. But we have 5 badass dudes up front that are going to get there. They're going to take your heads off, right? And they are not, you're not going to be able to stop what we do, even though you know what we're going to do. And to me, it's that element of football that the Chargers are missing. But if Zion Johnson is there and the Chargers do select him, I will immediately start, okay, now it's time to go. And that would definitely show me that the front office, GM, Tom Telesco, Brandon Staley, they're all on the same page, and they understand, okay, we're going to get tougher this year, and we're going to run the ball, and we're going to punish people as we do it. So that's pretty much my breakdown on the potential draft pick in Zion Johnson. Like I said, it would be amazing, and it would really show Charger fans that the team is really committed, and they're pot committed on making the Super Bowl run. They're pot committed on being the aggressors this year, which is something that Charger fans have wanted to see for a very, very long time. And I'm just getting excited just thinking about it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got on this one, guys. Just my little breakdown on Zion Johnson. Please, if you like the content, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I will have, some more content coming out for draft week, and along with, I'll be live streaming when the Chargers make their pick. So that's all I got for this one. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you so much. And until next time, I will see you later.